Hello students, in this video I'm going to be discussing Accenture's new pattern for selection, and specifically I'm going to be discussing the cognitive assessment section. Okay, now let's discuss what is this cognitive assessment section all about. Now you can say cognitive assessment section has two parts. First part is your psychometric test. Now, this is a basic psychometric test wherein you will get 54 questions which you have to do in 20 minutes. The questions have multiple choices and you need to answer all of them. So at this point of time, I'm just telling you, as in one of the fundamental things you need to keep in mind while taking the psychometric test is that you need to answer all of the questions. Okay, so this is one of the things. The other thing is, uh, you don't think too much about this question over there. So whatever the first response you get in your mind, you answer accordingly. Because if you start overthinking a lot that which is going to be the perfect answer among the options, then it may be possible that you're not able to complete the test. Okay. And then because one of the basic things is you need to complete it. Okay. So, and one more thing is you need to read the questions very correctly. Okay, very precisely. The reason is because sometimes what happens is for a similar set of questions, let's say there are two similar questions. One is question number 2 and let's say the other is question number 51, which are similar. So for question number 2, you had a particular response. You marked a particular response. But for a similar question, which is like the 51st question, you marked a completely different response. Now, this kind of a thing shows inconsistency. So this has to be kept in mind. So while answering psychometric question, I'm just repeating, whatever first response you get in your mind, just go with it. Uh, don't think too much because otherwise you're not going to be able to complete the section. And the other thing is uh, you need to read it the questions very precisely. Okay, so you need to have similar response for similar set of questions. Now, overall speaking, let's not be worried. Psychometric section is going to be very simple, very simple. Overall, I must tell you, this cognitive assessment section, first thing is, some of us, if we think it is not filtering round, certainly it is filtering round as well. Out of, it's going to be like, it is going to filter 10 to 15% of the students. So let's take an example. If 100 students are writing the test, after cognitive assessment, 15%, up to 15% students will be eliminated. They would not be allowed to go to the second section of the test. So thereby it is important. Okay. But then again, I must tell you, psychometric test is very simple. Let's not be worried about it. I'll discuss a question and don't worry about it. We have shared links in the class, so you can refer to those links. The links have explanations as well, so you can give those tests, and that should be like help you to, it's going to be like it provides the first awareness, and second, once you look at the explanation, so that's insightful and gives you a good idea what kind of answers you need to mark over there. Okay, so that's about the psychometric test. I'm going to give you examples later on. And then comes the game aptitude test. So this is primarily the focus of this video. Game aptitude test is going to have 3 games, which again you have to do it in 20 minutes. Psychometric test, 54 questions, you have to do it in 20 minutes. Game aptitude, it's going to be 3 games, 3 types of games, which you need to do in 20 minutes. Okay, so let's have a look at a very simple psychometric test question. Okay, a typical psychometric test question, I'll say. Okay, so what is the question? So if you read the question, it says, when faced with complex problem, I prefer to solve it independently before seeking help. I read it again. When faced with a complex problem, I prefer to solve it independently before seeking help. Now, there are multiple choices given. Strongly agree, whether you strongly agree, whether you agree, whether you're neutral about it, whether you disagree, or whether you strongly disagree. So I've chosen a question typically over here, as in like each of your responses, whatever response you're going to mark, you would be scored for it. Let's say if I go for strongly disagree over here, I'm going to fetch 1 point. Okay, because strongly disagree shows that, okay, uh, in a way it is saying, okay, you don't want to go with your problem solving skills, so you prefer uh, taking help all the time. Okay, so that's going to be like I will get a 1 point out of 5, which is going to be less. But at the same time, if I go with strongly agree over here, so some of you, it's going to be like it's going to be an eye opener. Strongly agree over here is also not going to fetch you 5 on 5, because if you strongly agree, that means you are less open about collaboration for the teamwork. Okay, so the best option here is when you say agree. So you can read it in the slide as well. It says agrees, shows initiative while being open to collaboration. Okay, so that's going to be the perfect answer. But the point is, let's say maybe take a realistic case. So maybe if I am not able to score 5 on 5 and I went with 4 on 5, maybe with strongly agree. So towards the end, let's take an example. I marked 10 questions. So specifically 10 questions, 5 points for one question. So my total marks are out of 50. Okay. Now, if I go with the kind of an answer which is strongly agree over here, which did not fetch me like complete the maximum, but I happen to go with this kind of an answer, I happen to get 4. So when I add 4, maybe I'm just considering, so I'm not able to get, let's say 5. For some questions, I'm going to get 5. For some questions, I'm going to get 4. Certainly, I would not be going in the opposite direction. Then if you add it, so what they require from you is they'll put a kind of a cutoff. So kind of a cutoff would mean out of 50, let's say I'm considering 10 questions which have 5 points each, and out of, let's say, 50, on 50, if you're able to get somewhere more than 28, I'm going with the data, Google's data. So if you can get more than 28, so it shows that you are moderately fit. And if you can get like more than 30, 38 or more, so it says you are perfectly fit for this company. Okay, so let's consider if you were scoring like 4 somewhere 5, then also it should be like your average is going to be more than 3.8, so which should be like perfectly fit. But I must tell you, I have spoken it before and I'm repeating it, let's not be that worried. If you're able to score even, let's say, more than 28, which certainly we did a test in class and most of the students were getting like 34, so 34 is also good, so moderately fit. So you can also take that test, and there are other few tests which like the training department, we have been sharing it on the in the classes. So you must take those tests, and certainly when you score over there and the assessment, the score tells you that, okay, this is, you're perfectly fit and the psychometric test is good. So it's motivating. Okay. So that's the thing you should be looking forward to. Okay. So let me be correct once again. If you score more than 28, which is like, you're going to definitely score more than 28 in the psychometric section, then you are, it will say you're moderately fit, but that clears your psychometric section. Okay. So more than 28 is, unless you're marking flukes. So otherwise it's going to be very simple. So definitely you're going to be scoring more than 28. Okay. Okay. Now let's come to the most important part of the video, where we're going to be discussing the game aptitude section. Now the game aptitude section, it has three types of games. Okay. And the game aptitude section is again 20 minutes, three types of question, not three games, three types of game. Okay, so there is no specific time which they have allocated, because they never revealed, okay, so which type of game, how much time is going to be there. But if you just go with this, there are 3 games to be done and you have 20 minutes. So if I divide, it can be a division like 7 minutes, 7 minutes and a 6 minutes, or it can be like 6 and a 8 minutes. So that kind of a division is going to be there. Okay. Now, the first kind of a game which we are going to discuss now is, I can call it comparison. So what is basically a comparison? You can see very well over here. I have, you can see, I have 3 expressions over here. I can call it A, B, and C. Okay. I have 3 expressions and I need to arrange them. I need to compare and I need to put them in an ascending order. Now, at this point of time, I'm considering I need to put them in an ascending order. You need to read the direction of the game very clearly. You need to read the direction of the game very clearly, whether I need to put them in an ascending order, whether I need to put them in a descending order. For this type of game, which is the first game, comparison, you will again get, let's say I'm considering you get 7 minutes for this game and you'll get 25 questions, or you can call 25 games. Okay, 7 minutes. Now, the first thing, one thing I would like to tell, okay, which let's say I missed out before, your games, whatever games you're going to get, are different from your Cape Gemini assessment games. Okay, so these are all 3 different new games by Accenture, and I'm considering the first game right now. So the first game, once again, I'm repeating, it's a comparison game. You'll get 3 expressions, which you have to arrange them in an ascending or maybe in a descending order. Okay, and what will happen, as in like a question is going to come and you need to answer, and again once you answer it, again another question is going to be there. So in 7 minutes it's going to be like 25 questions are going to be coming. Okay, so 25 questions with the timer is going to be there, you need to answer. Specifically it's going to be like 15 to somewhere around 15 to 20-second timer for per particular question. In classes, we are trying to ask students to do that, let's say more in like 12 seconds, but it's going to be like 15 to 20 seconds. Moreover, it should be like this. But again, the questions are fairly simple. The game is very simple. Okay, so this is something which is certainly very simple and I should be able to do it. Okay, let's take an example over here. I have 3 by 4 over here, which is B, which is 3 by 4 is going to be 0.75. And over here, 1 minus 0.8, it should be what, like what? Okay, it is like, let's consider it as 1 minus 0.2. So it is going to be 0.8 over here. Okay, I wrote it wrong over here. So let's correct the mistake. It should be like 1 minus 0.2. So it should be 0.8 over here. And 0.3 plus 0.35 should be 0.65. So now if I want to arrange them in ascending order, so it's very simple. C is the smallest, and then it is going to be B, which is going to be more than C, and which is then it's going to be B over here, and this is going to be A is the largest among the 3. Okay, now since it is a game and you will get a dynamic environment, I'm just showing you writing expressions, but in the actual, let's say, user interface, you'll get a dynamic version of it. So most likely what we have seen is you will get kind of like 3 balloons with expressions, and what you need to do is you start clicking with your mouse. Okay, so you have to start clicking with your mouse if you want to put them in an ascending order. So you start clicking with the lowest one first. So I'll click this option, C option over here first. This is once you click this, and then you need to click B. Okay, that's going to be it. And then you need to click A. So what you have done in the clicks, you have arranged them in an ascending order. Now I'm also telling you, okay, read the question for the instruction. correctly, it may be possible that instead of ascending, it might be descending, and it may be possible that there can be somewhere two expressions are equal. So what exactly you need to do when expressions are equal, that you have to read it over there with the directions. Okay, so that should be very simple. Okay, let's take another example. Okay, so what I have here is another question which again I need to arrange in ascending order. So moreover, what the questions we get, generally it is like this, okay, that one of them, most of the time, one of them is a constant. So I'm not worried about it. So over here, 3.5 is a constant. I'm not much worried about it. And I need to figure out the other two and really need to arrange them in an ascending or a descending order. Or let's take an example. I still want to arrange them in an ascending order. So let's look over here. What is 25 by 7? So many of us, when we took a quiz in the class, are getting uh, are scoring let's say less than 20 out of 25. So for them, first of all, again the cutoff is going to be fairly less, and the questions are going to be very simple. In the quizzes we have been giving you, we have tried to go a level up. So the scores would definitely increase on the actual exam. So I'm not that worried about it. But certainly, yes, we must take care as in how to increase our, let's say, speed. And one thing, foremost thing, which I was missing out till this point of time, I must mention it, that you're not allowed to use pen and paper. You're not allowed to use pen and paper for this fast maths. The first section, comparison, fast maths. You're not allowed to use pen and paper. Okay. So let's try to just think orally now. This is 3.5, and what is 25 by 7? So whatever calculations I'm going to do, I'm going to write it over here, but you have to think over there in mind. Okay, you need to do them orally. So what is 25 by 7? So 25 by 7, I'm just telling you what you have to think in mind. So 25 by 7, basically, I can do, this is going to be like this. 25 by 7, if I divide, so it 25 by 7, if I do think like this, quick division would mean 3 over here and a 21, and I know it's going to be a remainder of 4. So I can figure out it's going to be like this, 3, 4 by 7. So it is 3 plus something. Okay, now what is this 4 by 7? Now in our aptitude classes, we have been telling you to remember like fractions, like 1 by, what is 1 by 2, what is 1 by 3, what is 1 by 7 in terms of decimals. So this is going to come handy over here. So 1 by 7, if you remember it from the aptitude classes, it's like approximately 0.14. Okay, so 0.14, when you need to, 1 by 7 is 0.414. So when it is going to be like 4 by 7, so what is 4 by 7? It is going to be 0.414 into 4. So how can quickly we do it? 0.14 into 2 is going to be 0.28. And 1 again into 3 would mean 0.42. And then into 4 would be 0.56. So what am I going to get? I'm going to get 3.0.56, which is 3.56. So one of them is 3.4, the other, this A expression is 3.56, and now I happen to look at 17 by 5. So 17 by 5, when the denominator is 5, what happens? The calculations are very simple. If you just multiply and divide by 2, okay, so I'm going to get a denominator of 10, and over here it is going to be 34. So what is it? It is going to be 3.4. So quickly, whenever the denominator is 5, I simply need to just do the twice of the numerator and adjust the decimal. So I'm least bothered about the decimal. Are we getting it? Because you're not comparing, the question is not going to compare like 3.2 with 3200 or something. So decimal you can arrange. Okay. So 17, quickly, it's going to be what? 34 and the decimal. So that would mean 3.4 over here. Are we getting it, guys? So which is the smallest? Now the ascending order would be C is smallest, and then followed by B, and followed by A. Okay. So, and this is accordingly you're going to do on the dynamic version, wherein you are clicking the different balloons. Okay. That's going to be it. Okay. That's great. So that's about the quick math, the fast math, the comparison section. Okay. Fine. Okay, so in this, as a matter of fact, in the comparison section or the fast maths, so let's try to remember the some of the fractions which are going to be really useful. Okay, let's quickly do it. Okay, what is half? This is going to help you out in calculation. So what is half? This is going to be zero point 0.5. And what is 1 by 4? So 1 by 4 is going to be half of it. So it's going to be 0.25. And what is 1 by 8? 1 by 8 is going to be half of this. So this is going to be 0.125. Okay, what is 1 by 16 then? 1 by 16 is going to be just half of it. So it is going to be what? It is going to be it is going to be 0.625. Okay, that's going to be half of it once again. Okay, now let's think about other fractions. What is 1 by 3? 1 by 3 is 0.33. If I need to do 1 by 6, 1 by 6 is going to be just half of it. I'll do 0.16. What I'm trying to tell you over here, if there is an expression which says 2 by 3, so 2 by 3 is going to be like twice of 1 by 3 is going to be 0.66. Are we getting this? Okay. And then we are concerned about 1 by 7. That was what we were using in the previous question. It is going to be approximately 0.14. 1 by 14 is going to be half of it. So that should be 0.07. Okay. And now coming to this is going to be like 1 by 8, 1 by 9. 1 by 9 is what is 1 by 9? It is 0.11. Okay. And what is 1 by 11? 1 by 11 is it is going to be 0.09. Okay, approximately. So these kind of fractions will help you to do the quick maths quickly than what the Accenture people want from us. Okay, so that should be it. Okay, now it is the second game. I must tell you, the first game we were discussing was comparison, or you can say fast maths, and this which had like 25 questions, which we were supposed to do in maybe 7 minutes, and our calculations are going to be handy over there. So that's going to be not a difficult section. Now, the second question is again a very simple game. Okay, so very simple game means, okay, once again, this is a type of game. So this type of game, they are calling it, what they are calling? They are calling this game as direction. Okay, this game they call it and refer to it as direction. Okay. So what is this game all about? Now, I'm giving you an example. So what does it mean? Let's say if there are 6 minutes for this game. So game is going to be there, pop up as in it shows a game over here. And you quickly need to do it. Once you've done this game, another similar game is going to be there. Okay. And once you do it, again, a similar game is going to be there. And moreover, it is going to be adaptive. So you start with a very simple grid, as in I have taken a 4 by 5 grid, which seems to be a little complex, but actually it's going to be even, let's say, even more simpler grids over there for the start. And finally, you reach a level like a 4 by 5, 5 by 5, or a 6 by 6 grid. Okay. So more difficult questions, adaptive. So more difficult questions you do, the more marks you fetch in the exam. Okay. So what is the game all about? You happen, this is very simple. Let's do it with red. Okay, there is this start point and I need to reach the exit point, okay, within the grid. Now, since it is a rectangular grid, you can either go horizontal or you can go vertical, okay? So you can go either to the right or you can go downwards. Now you can see there are three kind of elements over here. Okay, start and exit is fine. You need to start from the starting point and you need to come to the exit. And there are three elements over there. So basically from the start, you need to take some path and you need to reach the exit. Now there are three kind of elements over here. You can see first, let's see what is this. This is, I can call it's a 0, but this is actually a wall. So what does it mean? These are blocks, these are walls, so you cannot cross them. Okay, so your path, if you want to make a path from start to exit, you cannot cross them. Okay, that's one thing. Now there is another arrow. You can see this is an arrow, and this is over here. There are typical examples, arrow being over here, here, and here. These are like fixed arrows. Okay, so these are fixed arrows, which shows in which direction the arrow goes, the path goes along with. And then there is this, you can say, a vertical line, which is called a bidirectional arrow. So this and this means the same thing. What does it mean? But it's a bidirectional. Either you can go up or you can go down. You can use it either way, whichever suits in your path. Okay. Now the thing is, moreover, the directions would be given for the question, and I'm just going to tell you the directions. These start and exit and all the elements are placed on tiles. These are, let's say, they are referring to them as tiles, the grid. Okay, so now you need to figure out a path first. Now actually you might be thinking over here, okay, let's take an example. So if I go with this path, okay, I start over here, this is my start, so I can start this. If I take here, the arrow indicates I can reach here. Okay, let's try to number them. So once you use the coordinates, it's going to be more simple. So if I call this as 1 1, so this is going to become what? This is the first row and the first column, and this is going to be still the first row and the second column, 1 2. This is 1 3, and this is going to be 1 4. Okay, and if I take randomly, what is this a tile going to be? This is going to be the 1 2 3 fourth row and the second column. Okay, over here. So if I take this path, okay, let's do it together. So if I take this path, I can go from 1 1 to 1 2, and then there is a bidirectional arrow. So bidirectional, I can climb up or I can climb down, whichever suits my path I want to go with. So okay, so this I want to come down. Okay, so this bidirectional is fine, and then I come over here and I go like this. So I'm maintaining this path. Okay, then there is again a bidirectional, so I can come down and I can be here, and then again it's like this arrow is pointing over here. I can go over here, bidirectional, I can reach over here. Now if I keep I take this path, so there was no at no point I had to rotate any of the tiles. Are we getting it? So this is a kind of an optimal path I took, which is a kind of a shortest. And again, it is, I am not, I don't have to. Now there is nothing as shortest over here, I must tell you, because this is a grid. So grid means I have to go, you can say 1 2 3 on the right and 1 2 3 4 on the down. So anyways, because it's a rectangular grid, so any path you'll take is going to be the same, the number, as in the amount of transitions you're doing. But the point is, in this path there was no rotation as well needed. Now let's take another example. Let's change the color over here, and I happen to choose, let's say, orange, or maybe yellow. So, and I'll try to do it with a different path altogether now. Okay, so I reach over here and I come over here, and I cannot certainly go over there because there is a block over here. So I go down. Till then it is fine. I go over here. Okay, but instead, let's say, and I come down. I come down, but then I would like to go, let's say, over here, and I continued over here, but I want to use this, but I want to come down. I want to come down, so then I need to rotate. I need to rotate 4 comma 3. 4 comma 3. How much? In a, if I want to choose this path, sorry, this path going down, then I need to rotate this clockwise. I need to rotate this clockwise by 90. Once I do it, it's going to become like this. This arrow is going to become like this. And I then choose the bidirectional arrow. And then because bidirectional would also mean it is going to be over here. It is arrowhead is either this way or this way. So I have to rotate. I have to once again rotate clockwise by 90 degree. Once I do it, it's going to be like this, and I can do it with like and reach the exit. So what I'm doing now is I am choosing this path here, it's all fine here. I rotated this tile and I rotated this tile as well to reach the exit point. So what I'm trying to tell you over here is, let's say in this particular question, you could have reached without rotation, but it may be possible that in other set of questions, you have to choose a path where rotation is necessary, and moreover, it is going to be necessary. So whenever rotation has to be done, the direction would say, generally it is like multiples of 90. What does it mean? You will come there, you will click the mouse, so you'll reach the tile, and once again you click it, so the tile is going to be rotating like by 90. So you're going to maintain it like this and then rotate it so that the path is complete and you reach the exit. So I'm repeating once again, in this question, we figured out a path which we were following before. It never required rotation. But then again, in most of the question, it will be like two paths are there, but both of them require tiles to be rotated so that the path is complete. Okay. So then it has to be done. Okay. Let's take an example. Let's say if I just take an example like this, my path is going like this. Let's take an example, and it's in a grid. Let's assume. Okay. And then it is going like this. But here what happens, it is, and I need to go like this and reach exit. But here there is a bidirectional. So bidirectional would mean it has arrows like this. Now this has to be rotated clockwise with 90. So now I can use this path to reach my exit. Now I believe this is clarifying the point. In this particular question, there is one path where I don't need rotation, but most of the time it will be like I would be requiring rotation. So nothing to worry. Figure out a path. First of all, figure out a path from start to exit. Whatever the tile, whatever the arrow need to be rotated, just rotate it using mouse and then complete the path. Quickly do it. Another question is going to pop up with a new challenge, and do it again. Just make rotations, choose your path, make rotation, read the exit, and we are done with the question. So it's going to be a fairly simple question. Okay. Okay, now till now we have seen two games. One is like your fast maths or comparison, which has 25 questions, which you have to do, let's say, in 7 minutes. And that should be easy. Okay, and you need to brush up a little bit of your calculations, and that should be very simple. Okay, and the second game was direction. Once again, a direction wherein like you need to figure out a path from start to end. Some of the arrows, some of the tiles you need to rotate, because some of the arrows will not be going as per your path. So you need to rotate them and you need to reach the end. Okay. So it's going to be like this once again, that you need to do, there's going to be a game or a question and you need to rotate the tiles quickly and reach the path. Then another game is going to be there. Again, you do the same process and you reach the end. So these two games are going to be very simple. Now the concern lies with the third game, which is going to be slightly challenging. And this is where this memory based game, I'm little concerned about it. So hear me out for this one. So what is this memory based game? Okay, let's have a look at this thing, which I have two layouts over here. One, I'm calling it a hidden layout. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm calling it as a hidden layout later on, and why I'm calling this as a visible layout. So what I need to do is I have a start point once again, and I need to reach the end point once again. So if I happen to look over here, things are fairly simple. I can go like this, but I cannot go like this because whatever the crosses are, these are my walls. So crosses are my walls. So if I need to figure out a path over here, there is a start, there is an end, but there is something called K over here. So this K is key. So what you need to do is you need to start from the start and you need to reach the exit E, but you need to fetch a key first. First, you need to start, fetch a key, and then reach the endpoint. So if I do it over here, and you cannot cross the walls. So if I do it over here, I can go over here and this can be a suitable path, I guess, fetching the key and then going like this, avoiding the walls and reaching the exit. Or maybe I could choose like this. I go like this. I can come back again, go like this, maybe this, and reach the end. Okay. So this seems to be fairly simple. So what is my worry? And what is this memory all about? Now, let's go slow over here. This is, I have referred to it as a hidden layout. So this is the actual problem, the game, but I will not be seeing it. Okay. What I'll be visible to me on my computer screen is going to be a layout like this, which has a start. I know somewhere in the middle is going to be the key. It may be exact center or it may be somewhere in the middle, and somewhere towards this corner is going to be my exit. Maybe this, the foremost, the corner is cornermost, sorry, and or maybe somewhere here in the vicinity of the corner is going to be my exit. So I need to start, I need to fetch the key and reach the end point. Now, because nothing is visible to me, so I can think over it like this, that I need to reach somewhere in the middle and fetch the key. So I have two options. Either I can go horizontally or I can go vertically down. Let's say I choose this. I happen to come over here, which was fine, and I happen to go over there. Since when I reach there, because in the question is there is a wall over here, so the wall is going to be there, and what will happen? I would come back to my starting point. So let me use an eraser over here. Okay, I'll come back once again over here. Now, what I need to do is I need to memorize that there is a wall over here. Mind you, you cannot use pen and paper because this is not allowed, and you cannot use something, a marking, a sketch pen or a marker on the screen. This is again not allowed. For Accenture, pen and paper, marker, nothing is allowed, and they're very strict with regards to cheating, so don't use unfair means. Okay. Let's make it very clear about it. Let's make things very clear about it. No unfair means. Okay, they would be very vigilant. There would be many invigilators. They will have specifically a flying squad. So anytime if it is any person is using unfair means, his candidature is going to be cancelled. Okay, let's make things very clear. Okay, let's come back to the question. So if it is a ball over here, I need to memorize. So next time, if I choose this path, I will not go over here because I remember there's a wall, so I might come down and maybe I go over here. Now if I go over here in search of my key, there's a wall again. So what would it mean? I will come back again to the starting point. I'll come back again to the starting point over here. So now I remember there is a memory. In memory, in my mind, I'm remembering there's a wall over here and there is a wall over here. So I must choose some other path. Some other path. Maybe possible I go there, I go there, I go there, come down, and there is a wall once again. Once again, wall. So I'll come back once again over here. The game resets. So I know now there's a wall over here. I memorize there's a wall over here and there is a wall over here. So I go like this maybe, and I go like this, and maybe I come over here. Once I come here, a key is going to pop up. So which means okay, I found the key. Okay, that's fine. I found the key. Now I know I continue. So I continue to reach for the exit. And maybe I go here, which was fine. I go here and then I encounter a wall over here. I encounter a wall once again over here. And once again, it resets like snakes and ladder. Snakes and ladder, and there is a snake over here. You can just try to think like this, and a wall over here which resets me over here once again. So I memorize once again. I have in my memory that okay, there is a wall over here, there is a wall over here, and there is a wall over here. So let me first go through the key. Okay, let's find the key. That's fine. And I know I cannot go like this, so I choose some other path. And I know there is a wall over here, so I go down. I'm memorizing. Maybe I go over here. I am not able to find the exit, so I come over here. Once I come over here, as per this question, there is an exit over here. So that's take care of this question. Once I do it, so there's going to be another question. So whatever the timing they allot, like 6 minutes or 7 minutes, the more games you do it, it's going to start with a very simple grid. I have chosen, you can say a 5 by 5 grid, but it's going to start maybe with the 3 by 3 grid, and then it's going to be like 4 by 4 grid, or maybe a 5 by 5, and eventually it can be a 6 by 6. So more difficult questions you solve, as it's going to be like with all the sections with the game, as in the sections are going to be adaptive. The more difficult you solve, the you solve a question, a game, and then a difficult question or a game is going to be there. So more difficult games you solve in that stipulated amount of time is going to fetch you more marks. So guys, this game is really something you need to practice. In classes we have been doing it, so be there in the classes, and that should be it. Otherwise also let's keep things very clear about this game. So this is the one I'm concerned about. Okay, I'm repeating: fast calculation, brush up your basic calculations, don't use pen and paper, work with your calculations, and just it's going to be there. That's going to be simple. Second direction, arrows, just rotate the tiles, read the exit. That should not be difficult. But yes, memory game is difficult, kind of difficult, and not that difficult. Once again, yes, relatively it is difficult, but yes, all the games are simple. And don't be that worried about psychometric test. Once again, let me repeat it. Uh, if let's say for a question you scored perfect 5, and for a for the next question you scored 1, then also your average is 3, which is more than 2.8. 2.8, 50 on 28, 100, 56 on 26, and then also you clear the psychometric test. So psychometric test is not going to be difficult. You would be able to clear it, and games are also not difficult. The purpose of the video is to create this kind of an awareness, which is very much important, and be there in the classes. That's once again, that's what I want to underscore over here, underline over here for you guys. Okay, and moreover, that should be simple. Then I have full faith in the students here in the college, and they should be doing good. Okay. So with this, I come to the end of the video. Uh, Now, what we discussed is like about the psychometric test. That is going to be simple. Three kinds of game: fast maths or comparison. Second is your directions, and third is your memory-based game. Okay, so all three games are simple. Do a little bit of practice with the memory-based game, little bit of practice with the fast calculations. Direction should be simple, and the psychometric test questions, please go through the psychometric test questions we discuss in the classes. So that should be it. uh, and best of luck for your exam. We hope, like, certainly we at the training team, we certainly think that you will do wonders, and maybe all of you are going to crack the Accenture exam. That's all from my side. Best of luck. Okay, thanks for watching the video. And in case of any doubts, you can always reach to the training team. Thank you.